it up.
No.
What do you mean, no? What is it?
The room was already tense. But when DMX stood up to hug his son, and Iyanla said no, the energy snapped. He froze, eyes locked, and asked, "What do you mean, no?" Iyanla didn't blink. "Don't you ever speak to me, ever." But her face said it all. She was uncomfortable, and she lashed out.
You don't get to speak to me ever again.
Moments before that, DMX had been trying to speak directly to his son, raw, emotional, finally opening up. But Iyanla interrupted, cutting in mid-sentence. That was it for X. He turned to her and said, "Shut the F up."
Lady, shut the up, man.
No,
I'm talking about, no, listen, man.
Listen, man,
I'm not going for this.
You don't get, I was talking to Xavier.
Damn, y'all, for real,
I was talking to Xavier.
Then he tried to close the space, went to embrace his son, and that's when she blocked it, said no. And just like that, it wasn't therapy anymore. It was war. That's what interviewing DMX felt like. Unpredictable, unfiltered, and one wrong word could light the fuse.
You can leave. I am gonna leave. You can leave. How about that? You can leave.
There's one interview that still makes people tense up when they watch it. Not because someone yelled, not because it turned violent, but because it was so real, so raw, and so uncomfortable. It felt like it wasn't supposed to be on TV. From the second it started, you could feel it, that clash of energies. Iyanla came in with the spiritual healer vibe, calm and probing. But X, he didn't trust it. He didn't trust her, and he wasn't trying to be fixed for the camera. Early in the episode, she asked about his son, a sensitive topic, and instead of opening up gently, DMX snapped. He shouted, he cursed, he leaned forward, locked eyes, and said, "Shut the F up, man." That moment, pure fire. Not from a place of disrespect, but from pain. You could see it. He felt cornered. Felt like she was trying to pry into trauma for the sake of the show, and X wasn't going for it. The silence after that line said everything. The crew froze. Iyanla held her ground, but even she looked stunned. X stood up, started pacing, talking to himself. His voice cracked. He wasn't just angry, he was hurt, frustrated, guarded. The thing is, this wasn't fake. It wasn't an act for views. This was a man battling his demons in real time, on national television, being asked to explain wounds he had no words for. And that's what made it uncomfortable for so many people to watch, because it wasn't just about parenting, or addiction, or ego. It was about trust. DMX didn't trust the media. He didn't trust emotional manipulation. And when he felt like someone was trying to pin him down, especially on camera, that wall went up fast. That episode didn't end in healing. It ended with a man storming off, saying he was done. And to this day, it's one of the most memorable, heartbreaking, and talked about moments in his entire media history. Because this wasn't DMX the rapper. This wasn't the barking, the growling, the bravado. This was Earl, the human, and he didn't feel safe, which is why it makes sense to go into the next moment, where that same lack of trust turned into physical tension.
You don't get to speak to me ever again.
There's this short clip floating around online that says everything you need to know about DMX without saying much at all. He's mid-interview, sitting in the chair, camera rolling, and suddenly he just checks out. 1 second he's answering a question, next he's talking to someone off camera. Then he mumbles something about a flight he's got to catch, and after that, nothing. He just sits there, zoned out, like the whole thing slipped his mind. The interviewer? Stuck. No idea what to do. You can see it all over his face. Should I speak? Should I stop the cameras? Is this part of the show? But no one says a word. No one cuts. No one steps in. It's awkward, it's raw. And honestly, it's exactly what made DMX who he was. This wasn't a meltdown. It wasn't a dramatic exit. It wasn't even intentional. It was just DMX being DMX. He wasn't wired for polished moments. He wasn't trained to sit in a studio chair. give the media a headline, and wrap it all up with a smile. He lived in his own head, his own rhythm. The interview world didn't shape him, he made them adjust to his presence. And that's where things got tricky, because when a person's that unpredictable, people around them start getting nervous, not in a scared way, in a you never know what's coming next way. Ask any veteran journalist who ever sat across from him. They'll tell you, you couldn't prepare for DMX, you couldn't script it, you couldn't control the flow. He might pray, he might get emotional, he might flip the energy on a dime. And when that happens, producers start sweating, cameramen pause, segments go off the rails. In this clip, it wasn't what he said that made the moment legendary. It was what he didn't do. That silence, that blank space, that's what made it feel so real. No explanation, no filter, just a man momentarily disconnected from the performance the world expected. Some fans laughed, others paused, some didn't know what to make of it, but nobody looked away. Because even when DMX wasn't saying a word, you felt something. Confusion, curiosity, a little tension. He made interviews feel less like journalism and more like stepping into a room with unpredictable energy. And it wasn't always deep. Sometimes it was just spacey, sloppy, human. That's what threw people off. He didn't come to impress. He didn't care if the segment made sense. If he felt like drifting off, he drifted. If he thought about something random, he said it. If he was over the interview halfway through, well, that was your problem, not his. And that unpredictability, it kept everyone on edge. It created viral moments that weren't scripted. Moments producers couldn't plan for. Moments that reminded everyone that DMX wasn't an actor. He wasn't trying to entertain. He was just being who he was. Flaws, silence, distractions, all of it. But that kind of energy, it doesn't just cause awkward silences. Sometimes it invites tension, real tension, the kind that shifts a room and changes how people move around you. Because the next moment didn't come from a camera glitch or mental drift. It came from real danger.
And you know what? Throughout
You
your
are so like fucking like that's a thing, like, you know what? So that's like, I love it. I love it. She's so restrained and defiant. I love it. Do it.
By the time the early 2000s hit, DMX wasn't just another name in rap. He was the storm, the voice, the spirit. Everything about him came from pain, from struggle, from something real. So when he felt somebody was copying that, or disrespecting it, he didn't call lawyers. He called them out. Loud, director, no filter. Let's start with Steven Seagal. They had worked together on Exit Wounds. But after the cameras stopped rolling, DMX wasn't feeling him. Said he acted like the tough guy role in real life, but didn't carry that same energy off set. In one clip, DMX smirks, leans back and goes, "He think he tough, he not." That was it. He didn't need to say more. You felt it. Because X wasn't moved by Hollywood gangsters or movie fake bravado. If you didn't bleed it, he didn't believe it.
The one move where he has my arms behind my back and we're both supposed to drop to the ground at the same time. You know, on cue, I drop and he stays up, dislocated my shoulder. Wow. You know, what goes around comes around, and he ended up hurting himself on the set and was out for 2 weeks. So.
Oh, good.
Now jump to Rick Ross and Lil Wayne. In one interview, they came up, and DMX didn't flinch. Said Wayne's voice annoyed him. Flat out. Said it didn't hit him the way rap was supposed to. Called it irritating.
What do you think about Lil Wayne?
We got a good relationship.
I see. I think well, everything you said about Wayne is exactly what everything you just said about Ross is what I think about Wayne.
Yeah.
I think all he talks about is smoking weed.
Yeah.
And a whole bunch of nothing.
I said we cool.
Then on Rick Ross, DMX didn't hold back. He said Ross rapped too much about food and weed, straight up. In his words, all he talks about is eating and smoking. And that was a problem for X, not because he hated Ross, but because to him, hip-hop was supposed to come from pain, struggle, survival, not just luxury plates and backwoods. He wasn't feeling it. He wasn't hearing hunger in the bars. He was hearing appetite. And for a man like DMX, who wore every scar out loud, that kind of rap just didn't land.
I'm surprised you don't like Ross lyrically, man. Ross be
He's
spitting.
alright, man. He just talk about eating and you know, girlfriend too much. You know, how much can it eat? How much weed can you smoke? Huh? Like, alright, let's talk about something else. I know you got a Maybach, you got the Aston Martin. Okay, good for you.
And when the host tried to smooth it over, tried to move to the next topic, X cut that off too. If it ain't real, I don't feel it. That's the quote. That's the whole playbook. And then, Drake. DMX didn't go on a deep rant about Drake. He just kept it short and cold. Said, I don't like anything about Drake. I don't like his face. I don't like his voice. I don't like his haircut.
What about Drake? You like Drake?
No.
My man.
He didn't even say a little bit. He didn't even say halfway.
That's my guy right there.
Now, why don't you like Drake?
I don't like anything about Drake.
My
I don't like his voice. I don't like what he talks about. I don't.
See, I be trying to
I don't
tell
like
these
his
people.
face.
I don't like
I don't like the way he walks. Like nothing. I don't like his haircut.
That's all he had to say. It wasn't lyrical. It wasn't even personal in the industry sense. It was just DMX speaking from his gut, not a press angle. That kind of statement, you don't write it, you feel it. That wasn't just critique, that was personal. To DMX, Ja wasn't just another rapper with a raspy voice. He was a clone, a copy. And DMX didn't let that slide. He said it over and over again in interviews. He tried to be me. Not whispered, not hinted. He said it bold, like it was fact. No fake humility, no sneak disses. Just raw honesty from a man who felt disrespected. And he wasn't alone. People around him felt it too. Go listen to that verse on We Don't Give a F. Styles P later confirmed that was aimed at Ja Rule. That wasn't random energy. That was X drawing a line in the sand early. But it wasn't just on wax. DMX told a story once. He walked into a club in LA, peace in mind. Bought Ja a drink. Respect move. A couple weeks later, Ja's crew told him to pull up again. So he did. But Ja never came out. He felt played. And right there, X made his decision. He said it straight. I already extended my hand once. You can't give me the same courtesy? F you. But even with that energy, DMX still had limits. He once said he stopped people from hurting Ja Rule, stepped in when things were about to go left. Why? His words, even if I don't like you, I'm not gonna let you die over this. That tells you everything. DMX didn't play fake. He didn't play soft, but he wasn't a monster either. There were rules, there was code. And when it came to Ja Rule, yeah, the beef was real. But the respect for life, that was deeper. Years later, they squashed it. Hugged it out at the hip-hop honors. Peace was made. But the scars from that era? Still stamped in history. Because when DMX spoke on Ja Rule, he wasn't talking about bars. He was talking about identity. And to him, there's nothing more personal than that.
He knows who the we're talking about. Chicago. Same flight. You know the you're only alive because of me. You seen them 10 trucks parked in front of the airport? That wasn't for you, that was for me.
And that, right there, that's why people feared and respected DMX in the same breath. He might not like you, he might call you out in public, but even then, his code never cracked. Because with DMX, even the smoke had boundaries.
This ain't got nothing to do with him right now, man. Or Murder Inc. This is between me and Chop. Now, if Chop can't handle his own beef, then I understand. I mean, if he think, you know, to need help, then I understand. But other than that, man, he need to just shut the up, mind his business, man, for real, man. And that's when I'm gonna drop this song called Rules Out, because I'm just sick of the bull. Sick of when he sounded like me. I'm sick of smiling on my face. He need a fake type nigga, you know what I mean? I'm just sick of all that.
What it made it come to a head right now and made you just want to lash out like this?
Because I'm tired every time I have an interview, or every time I'm on the street, somebody asks me, what's up with him?
And then came 50 Cent. Another name X didn't exactly salute. In that same explosive clip, DMX makes it clear that he doesn't rock with 50 either. That's my brother, he says sarcastically with a smirk and a hard stare. It was layered. Like, we might be cool, but I don't trust you. Or maybe I see through you, but I won't let them get you either. He was taking shots and drawing lines at the same time. There's no fake beef with X. If he mentioned you, it meant something.
Growl, everything, I guess it was just a coincidence, you know what I'm saying? Wow. I heard this whole like, okay.
If you a 50 Cent had a baby, that's Pop Smoke, that's true.
That would be awesome.
And that's the common thread in all of this. Whether it was Jaw, 50, Seagal, Ross, Wayne, or Drake, if something felt off, DMX didn't dance around it. He put it on the table. Not to go viral, not to trend, just because he refused to fake it. This wasn't a man chasing approval. He was the approval. If he didn't rock with you, he didn't explain it. He didn't soften the words. And sometimes, that honesty burned bridges. But he didn't care. Because in his eyes, the only real loss is staying silent when something feels wrong. There's a story DMX once told that doesn't come with flashing lights or dramatic edits, but it sticks with you. It's not a rap beef, not a diss. It's real-life fear. The kind of fear that makes you move fast, trust no one, and walk away even if the cameras are still rolling. It happened in Angola during what was supposed to be a regular press run. He was in a room, hotel setup, small crew, typical international vibe. But something was off. The questions weren't lining up. The energy? Weird. And DMX, he felt it. Then came the shift. He didn't wait around to find out if he was right. He stood up, yanked off the mic, and told the crew plainly, "Do not touch me." Someone tried to stop him at the door. Wrong move.
How are you?
Almost.
Okay.
Oh, we was a little ahead of the situation just by doing some red.
And this in Africa?
Yeah, Angola. We kind of knew something was a little off because, out there they pushed the runway up to the plane.
No punches, no yelling, just that presence, that tone that said, "Back up, or something's gonna happen." He walked out, and just like that, the entire room shifted. Everyone suddenly remembered, you don't box DMX in, especially not with cameras rolling and the energy feeling off. And this wasn't paranoia, it was instinct. The same instinct that made him one of the rawest voices in hip-hop. That gut-level reaction that said, if something doesn't feel right, I'm gone.
At the same time, it's like, a lot of authority and power here, you know what I'm saying? As we go into the hotel, we happen to see the American Embassy. So we're like, let's go in there and say what's up. That's what saved us. That's what saved us.
That clip from Drink Champs? It's proof. Not of aggression, but of awareness. Of someone who'd been through enough to know when to stop performing and start surviving. And the moment he walked out, the streets understood. That takes us straight into another setup that backfired, when the media tried to bait him into taking shots at Eminem. Because if the move ain't real, DMX ain't touching it. Not every moment that made interviewers uncomfortable with DMX came from tension in the room. Sometimes the discomfort came from what the media tried to create and how he refused to play along. One of those moments? The time an interviewer tried to stir up drama between DMX and Eminem. Now let's set the scene. This was back when Eminem was one of the most talked about rappers in the world. Slim Shady was charting everywhere, starting controversy, and getting praised for being one of the most technical lyricists in the game. So naturally, people started drawing comparisons. And anytime that happens, someone in the media always tries to light a fuse. The interviewer tried to bait DMX with a question like, "Do you feel like Eminem is trying to take your spot?" Or something close to it. But X wasn't having it. You could see the switch flip immediately. He didn't explode, he didn't threaten the guy. He just went quiet, then hit him with a look like, "Why would you ask me that?"
So Eminem released a track which is called Rap God. He's the Rap God now?
I don't know what Eminem is. I know he's a talented artist. We have a good relationship.
See, DMX didn't come up in a time where interviews were supposed to go viral. He came from the era where your word could get you in trouble outside the studio, and he wasn't about to say something slick just to give somebody else a headline. What made it uncomfortable was the silence. That beat, where the interviewer clearly expected a spicy quote, and instead got nothing, just tension. And then DMX broke it. Calm voice, simple response. Something along the lines of, "M doing his thing, I'm doing mine." And that was it. But the awkwardness in the room? Heavy. because now the reporter looked like the one trying to start a problem, and DMX. He looked like the grown man who'd seen this game before and wasn't falling for it. What people forget is that DMX respected skill. He might clown people he didn't rate, but he gave props when they were due. And truth be told, he had no issue with M. There wasn't any real beef, no diss tracks, no shots fired. The only thing that happened was the media trying to stir the pot, and X, being who he was, didn't let them. It was a reminder that DMX wasn't easily manipulated. He didn't need to diss someone to feel bigger. He didn't chase shock value. It followed him. And when the questions crossed a line, or tried to paint him into a corner, that's when you saw the real discomfort, not from him, but from the people asking. They were expecting a wild quote. What they got was a refusal, a cold stare, and that energy that said, "You don't control this interview. I do." Moments like that didn't make headlines, but they said everything. Because it's one thing to go off in an interview when you're emotional, but to stay quiet? To not let them twist your words? That's a different kind of power. And it was exactly that power that had the media walking on eggshells every time they sat down with DMX. But not every interviewer made him uncomfortable. Sometimes they made themselves the target. And when that happened, he wasn't quiet. He went all in. DMX didn't play the game, and that's exactly why the world couldn't forget him. That will be all